Hey everybody, it's Ellie with Own Your Books, and today I'm jumping in here to show you a quick manual way to track your transactions and create an income statement and balance sheet for a company that's really, really small. If you have a company and it's like 2 or 3 transactions a month, super small, super simple, you probably would be hard pressed to actually pay for an accounting software. If that's the case and you have a little bit of accounting knowledge and you aren't scared to do a little bit of manual work, here is a free template you can use to generate an income statement and a balance sheet for yourself for your company. All right, so I'm going to link to this down in the description below, but you can just make a copy of this Google Sheet and change it however you would like. So I have it set up for a very small company that literally just has a tenant in a building and gets rent and pays a mortgage. So that's a very simple situation. You can change these buckets, these accounts for the income statement and for the balance sheet. What you'll do is you'll download your own version. You can get in here and change the company name. You can change the account names, whatever you want to do. Here's how this system works. It all relies on this transactions tab. So you're going to enter the transactions as you go each month. And this basically will pull into the balance sheet and profit and loss. So I've got 2 types of accounts. I've got a journal entry account and then I've got a checking account. So the journal entry basically doesn't affect anything in the bank account, but it lets you tweak things on the balance sheet. It lets you add an owner's contribution or add an owner's distribution. That's kind of more fancy accounting stuff. You might not need to do that. In this situation, the owner is paying money into the company each month by paying for bookkeeping with a separate personal card. So if that's the case, then it would be considered an owner's contribution to the business, which shows up at the bottom of the balance sheet. And then it would be an expense for accounting. So I've got an account for that here. But whatever you're trying to do, whatever company you have set up, just hop in here to the transactions tab and go to the categories and click edit. You will be able to edit this drop down however you'd like. I have the categories red for profit and loss and blue for balance sheet. And I also have them numbered to keep them in order. But you can delete the numbers, you can change the names, whatever you want to do. The main thing that you need to know is if you change the categories, you'll need to make sure that the balance sheet and profit and loss category names are exactly the same as you change them over here. And that's because on the balance sheet and profit and loss, I've just got little sum if formulas that pull in the numbers and add them together based on the account name. Okay, so you get a profit and loss, and your profit and loss is going to pull in any transactions that you have entered here. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can only enter the transactions for the month, and that will mean that your profit and loss is for a specific month. Like, let's say it's July 1 through July 31st. Or you can enter transactions on this for multiple months, and this profit and loss would be a year-to-date or period-to-date profit and loss. So let's say you start doing this in January and you've got January all the way to July entered in this transactions tab. This is going to be a year-to-date. So if you do it that way, where you have the transactions all in this tab and you're not creating a new spreadsheet each month to just enter that month's tabs, you might want to use this little manual monthly profit and loss tab and just do a little pull in the transactions from the specific month you're working on. So I would do that by just hitting equal sign and going to the transactions tab and finding my rental income. That pulls it in. Going to equals, pulling in my interest expense. Like, that's just kind of a manual process if you want to break down the income statement by a certain timeline and you don't want to have to fool with a bunch of formulas. Another way you can do it is by copying this spreadsheet every month and then only entering that month's transactions in this tab. Okay, I think I've gone through everything. What you should know about this transactions tab is you'll want to make sure that positive amounts, those are the credits. So you'll want to make sure positive amounts are for income and for owner's contribution. And then you'll want to make sure that any negative amounts are expenses or owner's distribution. So as long as you've got the amounts positive or negative, depending on what type of transaction they are, they should pull into the profit and loss and balance sheet correctly. You'll want to update your balance sheet to be for the assets and liabilities you actually have. And you'll also want to update it for whatever you've already contributed to the business or any amount that you've already taken out. So to do that, you can just come in here and edit this first number in the formula. That's just basically the starting balance, and then it does a sum if to pull in any transactions that you enter in the other tab. Okay, one tip I'm going to give you, or one like pro tip that I think would be smart, is every month once you have entered the transactions, I recommend going ahead and saving the balance sheet, the profit and loss, and a PDF of the transactions tab, just to have and save them in like a file system, maybe Google Drive. That's what I do. And then every month you can just look back at the last month and you can double check your numbers. So if my income last month was $5,000 and then this month it was $2,000, then my period to date profit and loss should show that it's $7,000, which would be 5,000 plus 2,000. Just a simple check to make sure that you have everything in there and that your formulas are operating how you expect. Okay, that was a lot of information, and I've had some caffeine and some sugar today, so I'm talking pretty fast. But hopefully it was helpful for you just to see there are some manual ways that you can track your income statement if you want to get away from that monthly fee and you have a very simple business. And as a third thing, you're not afraid of a little bit of accounting because you have to know about debits and credits. But yeah, so this is a template you're welcome to use. I would love it if you want to download it and customize it for yourself. If you do end up using it, I would love to know. Leave me a comment below. Thanks so much for your time, and now go kick butt.